some reason I was thinking it was on the other side. Well, it doesn't matter. I want to leave it on. Yes. Check 1, 2, test. Yes.
Good. How are you?
You all right with the verbiage there?
Good morning, everybody. If we can find a seat, we're going to start the town board meeting. Those who've never attended a town board meeting before, we're going to have our public hearings. They were followed by our decision calendar and, of course, our administrative calendar. There are meeting agendas in the rear of the pavilion. If you wish to be heard on any of these matters, please just go to the back, grab one of the programs, and if you want to speak, there's a sign-in sheet. After the meeting is adjourned, we'll follow our procedure and remain to hear any residents who would like to speak to the board on any other matters. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Blakeman.
Good morning, Kate. I'm here.
Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, Councilman Carini.
Good morning, here.
We're very friendly around here in the town of Hempstead. Councilman Desposito.
I am here.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Muscarella.
Good morning, Kate. I'm here.
Okay, if you'll stand and Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Ryder, who joined us here today, if he could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner, and you're very loud for not being mic'd up. Good job. Madam Clerk, if you please call the first public hearing.
We have the petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove the 1 1/2 story wood frame, one-family dwelling with attached garage and remove all litter and debris from property in Levittown.
Okay, I have a number of slips on this, and I'm going to start with Joseph Tichy. Ty? You want to come on up to the front if you give your name, please? Thank you. You said it was Ty? You got it, Miss Ty. Have a seat on down here. If you give me your name and address for the record, that'd be great. Good morning.
I'm a Manhattan resident, but
Okay.
I stay with my mother a few days a week at 39 Booth Lane, Levittown.
Okay, you speak a little bit closer to the mic. They can't hear too.
My mother lives at 39 Booth Lane, Levittown, which is 2 houses away from this house. This house is a disaster, and it has been for way, way too long. All these letters they keep posting with Diane Lyle's name. Diane's been dead for 10, 15 years. Raccoons, possums all over the place. I'm afraid that my mother sit out in the backyard on a nice spring night. This is ridiculous. They've had squatters living in that house. There's still somebody that goes in the back shed, which is a disaster. Enough is enough with this house.
Okay, all right. We have Commissioner Rodkamp here. Commissioner?
Good morning, Supervisor, members of Town Board. Yes, that's why this is before the Town Board this morning, so that we could move ahead with demolishing this property.
Okay.
We would love that.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Ty.
We
Thank
hear
you
you.
very much.
We hear you, thank you.
George, I don't want to lie. I know there's George out there. I can't read your last name. It could be Muller, Esquire? Malloy, come on up. Mr. Malloy, if you just give your name and address for the record, we appreciate it. Thank you.
George Mullane. I'm with Franco, Lambert, Weiss, Weissman, and Gordon, 53 Gibson Street, Bay Shore, New York. My client is the mortgagee of the property, and this is the first notice that we've received regarding the violations. So we're just asking for an extension of time to look into the situation.
Commissioner?
Yes, Supervisor, my recommendation to the Town Board would be to proceed with this hearing, and we will work with the applicant if he can move forward with it. But because he just filed this paperwork, I believe they won't have possession of this house for years.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Malloy. Thank you very much. Felix Procacci? You can name a name and address for the record, please?
Felix Procacci. I just have
Do
one
you
question.
have your address for the record?
I don't give my address.
Okay, thank you.
Just one question. Has the rodents, has it been inspected to make sure that this property is rodent-free before they do the demolition? Because it's my understanding that, I think it's Nassau County law that before you demolish a house, that all the properties must be rodent-free. So I just want to know if the town has verified that it's rodent-free.
Mr. Rodkamp?
We make sure that's done prior to the demolition, correct?
Okay, so you can't go ahead with this resolution until you do that first.
No, the Town Board is giving me permission to knock it down.
Yeah.
So after the paperwork is corrected, then at that time, when they file for the demo permit, they file with the letter stating that there is no rodents on the property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other slips on this matter. Does anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I make a motion that we close the hearing and we adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove the 2-story wood frame, 1-family dwelling with attached 2-car garage, and remove all litter and debris from the property in Merrick.
I don't have any slips in this matter. Would anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito. Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in Inwood, Oceanside, Roosevelt, West Hempstead.
I don't have any slips in this matter. Would anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted. Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito. Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, can I hear the next item, please?
Proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in Belmore, Franklin Square, Inwood, Oceanside, West Hempstead, and near Westbury.
I don't have any slips in this matter. Would anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted. Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito. Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Proposed local law regarding arterial stops in West Hempstead.
I don't have any slips in this matter. Would anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted.
Second motion.
Tommy?
Supervisor Clavin?
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman?
Aye.
Councilman Carini?
Aye.
Councilman Desposito? Councilman Dunn? Senior Councilwoman Gooseby?
Aye.
And Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Proposed handicap parking on public streets in East Meadow, Elmont, Franklin Square, Oceanside, and Roosevelt.
I don't have any slips to this matter. Does anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to close the hearing and adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Proposed amendment of subsection 429A of Article 42 of the Building Zone Ordinance of the Town of Hempstead in relation to residential density for multifamily and mixed-use buildings.
I don't have any slips to this matter. Does anybody wish to be heard? Yes. Okay. Come on up, have a seat, and give us your name and address. Though you're no stranger, it's always nice to see you.
Good morning, Meeta J. Merriday Baldwin. I had some questions. Just I need point of clarification with regard to the purpose for this and what the potential impacts would be, as there are certain communities that seem to have a very dense population of housing developments and others do not. And because we have a need for affordable housing, I want to know how this is going to be impactful down the road as we look to increase the numbers of affordable housing projects for our residents who, need to downsize or whatever. So if I could get some clarity, it'd be appreciated.
Mr. Regina? Rich Regina, councilors of the town board. When the BMX overlay district was first created beginning in August of 18, in the community meetings and in the communications with Civic Association, Chamber of Commerce, other community leaders, there were originally maximum residential density cap numbers for multifamily and mixed-use buildings in each of the sub-districts. In July of 2019, those numbers were removed, and in the ordinance that was adopted last month, each application would be reviewed by the town board for those numbers. The Baldwin Civic Association contacted the town board and sought clarity, and they sought, in their words, clear and concise density language as initially offered. They wanted the numbers back in, and that's what the purpose of this amendment is.
Okay. I had a feeling that the genesis of this was from Baldwin, but again, I just want to make sure that this is not something that, again, is going to be flip-flopping back and forth based upon what specific needs are for other communities, because, again, we have a problem with regard to affordable housing, and because often developers come to the table and they say they need to make a certain amount of money to get their return in the investment, the affordability of the housing then becomes an issue. And then we have the same situation that we have right now. So I just want to make sure that this is not going to, again, limit maybe less connected developers who may have smaller projects, so that they're not limited because of the regulations to have a certain number of affordable housing within their complex, but they don't have the capacity for the high volume multiple projects across the board. So I just want to make sure that that's going to be clear, because we don't want to get into any additional types of litigation or address the fact that we still have a housing crisis throughout the township.
That is understood. That is understood. The BMX overlay district only applies to the designated 87 acres along Grand Avenue in Baldwin.
Okay, for this particular
Yes.
regulation. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that we pass it, close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito. Aye. Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed renewal of a contract for furnishing fire protection within the Green Acres Mall Fire Protection District.
I don't have any slips to this matter. Does anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted. Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed renewal contract for furnishing fire protection within the Millbrook Fire Protection District.
Okay, I do not have any slips to this matter. Does anybody wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the item adopted. Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini. Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed incorporation of the Merrick Volunteer Fire Company, Inc. in Merrick.
Okay, I do have a slip in this matter. Salvatore Sapienza? Morning, Mr. Sapienza. If you come on down, have a seat, and just give you your name and address, we appreciate it for the record. Thank you.
Salvatore Sapienza, attorney for the 3 fire companies in the Merrick Fire Protection District. My address is 5550 Merrick Road, Massapequa, New York.
Thank you, Mr. Sapienza.
I'm here to speak in favor of this proposed incorporation. The 3 fire companies that constitute the Merrick Fire Protection District are in favor of this. They believe that this incorporation will enhance their ability to obtain grants going forward and also facilitate the rendition of emergency medical services, because it's difficult with the certificate in need in one fire company that to move the ambulances between different firehouses. They believe that this project or this incorporation will enhance the ability of the fire department to provide fire services going forward in the Merrick Fire Protection District. And I'd just like to correct, it should be the Merrick Volunteer Fire Department, Inc. would be the correct name. And I apologize, there were going to be members from the fire department, but unfortunately they got called away on other business and they couldn't be present.
I appreciate Ms. Sapienza. Thank you very much. All right. I don't have any other slips in this matter. Anybody else wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that this hearing be closed and the motion adopted.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman. Councilman Carini. Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the decision calendar.
Supervisor, we have 2 items on the decision calendar. The first is the application of 7-Eleven, Inc. to permit and demolish the 2 existing 1-story buildings and to construct a new 1-story, 2,580 square feet of convenience store with fuel canopy, 4 multiple product dispensers providing 8 fueling stations and associated underground tanks, additional site work for parking and landscaping, and a trash enclosure in North Belmore.
Do I have a motion?
Yes. Just being clear, this is in North Belmore on Jerusalem Avenue on Belmore Road, Jerusalem Avenue and Belmore Road. I make a motion that we pass this.
Second the motion.
Close the hearing, pass it.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the decision calendar.
We have the second decision is on the application of Pathland Holdings LLC for a permit to include existing gasoline station, service station within the GSS district, and to demolish the existing 1-story building with basement, and to construct a new 1-story, 2,996-foot convenience store without basement, with 8 multiple product dispensers providing 16 fueling stations, additional site work for approximately 33,572 feet of landscaping and a trash enclosure, and they're all proposed with no automotive repairs, body work, automotive painting, or automotive sales will occur. This is near Bethpage.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
Okay, this is the one at the end of Wantor Avenue and Hicksville Road, which I'm making a motion that this matter be adjourned without date.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. And Councilman Muscarella.
Just to be clear on this, that it was passed, but just to be clear, this has been opposed by the residents in my area. It's been adjourned, that's what I meant, I'm sorry. It's been adjourned without date because the people in my district that I represent are up in arms about it, and I don't represent this company, I represent the people of my district, and that's why we're not going forward with it at this time. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call administrative calendar.
Supervisor, we have 63 items on the administrative calendar.
Do any of the council members wish to sever any of the items?
Yeah,
of the administrative
Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion that we sever item number 40 from the calendar, and with your permission, I'd ask that we call this hearing first.
I have a number of slips on item number 40 on the, oh, we got to vote for, vote on the sever? Oh, vote to sever?
Did you have?
Make a motion, vote to sever?
Flavin?
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman?
Aye.
Councilman Carini?
Aye.
Councilman Desposito?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby? And Councilman Muscarella?
I have a number of slips on this. Item 40, we're going to start with Commissioner Patrick Ryder. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioner.
And I want to start off by thanking Supervisor, the entire board for giving us this opportunity here today to speak to you on something that is very important to all of us as residents here in Nassau County. I want to especially thank Councilman D'Esposito. We reached out to him with this issue, brought this resolution that's going to be in front of you today, and hopefully we'll get your support. Back in 1939, police officer Alexander Benedict was investigating a burglary here in Nassau County, protecting the people, the complete strangers that we go out and put our lives on the line for every day. And while doing that investigation, he was shot and tragically killed and died in the line of duty. There have been 40 men and women that have paid the ultimate sacrifice here in Nassau County. Those that have died serving the people of Nassau County, putting their lives on the line. They live in grave sites throughout, not only here in Nassau County, the town of Hempstead, but throughout the country. And every year during Police Week, we go out and we take care of the grave sites, we go out and maintain them, and we service them. Back in 1952, Officer Benedict's family had all passed on, and his gravesite was not maintained. And it was bills that had built up at that gravesite to get the maintenance taken care of, and that's what we're here for today. 4 of those members that are buried in the Greenfield Cemetery, 3 of those have been maintained and taken care of. Officer Benedict's has not because of that. We've gone to our PBA, and thankfully they are replacing the gravestone at the site, but the maintenance that needs to be done there can only be done if the bills are the back bills are paid and the maintenance is taken care of, and that is what's in front of you today. So I will leave you with this one quote before that. A nation that does not honor its heroes will not long endure. Abraham Lincoln said that. Officer Benedict is not only a member of the service of the Nassau County Police Department that paid that ultimate sacrifice, but he is also a World War I veteran. And to leave his gravesite in the condition it's in, and again, the people at the Greenfield Cemetery have been nothing but professional in working with our department. So I, again, commend you. But to leave that gravesite in that is not how we shall endure. We must take care of those who paid that ultimate sacrifice. We must take care of our veterans, and we must continue to, obviously, the law enforcement community that, and my men and women here from my department all came here for today to let you know the importance that we always remember those who have fallen and paid that ultimate sacrifice. So that resolution is in front of you today to waive those bills going forward and in remembrance of our members. And again, that will long endure the government here in the town of Hempstead, as our great President Abraham Lincoln once said. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Supervisor, if I may, I just want to say that, you know, those of us in this room, those of us from those that are here today from the Nassau County Police Department who have taken the oath, we always vow to never forget those that have gone before us, those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I just wanted to thank you and the board for considering this today. I want to give a special recognition to Craig Braun, who is retired from the police department, who was the one who reached out to my office to get this going, working with the International Police Association, Region 5, the Nassau County PD Foundation, Commissioner Ryder and his office. This is our way of paying tribute and to making sure that we never forget the dedication and the commitment of Alexander Benedict, who gave his life on February 3rd, 1939, not only for this county and for the people that they are sworn to protect, but also after coming home and fighting in World War I. So I want to thank you all for your consideration, and I know I speak on behalf of Commissioner Ryder and the entire Nassau County Police Department that I urge you to support this. Thank you, and God bless you guys.
Supervisor, if I may be heard, first of all, I want to thank Commissioner Ryder and his outstanding staff, first of all, for making Nassau County a safer place. I know in my district, and I think all the members of this town board feel the same way, that the Nassau County Police Department is extremely responsive to the needs of our constituents, so I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. I want to commend Councilman D'Esposito for leading the charge in the town board on this. On a personal level, you know, law enforcement and Homeland Security are very important to me. I lost my nephew on 9/11, who was a court officer who was participating in the evacuation of Tower 2 at the World Trade Center when it collapsed on him. Unfortunately, we don't have any DNA. We're one of the families that never recovered DNA, so we don't have a place to bury my nephew. So it's his resting place forever. So this is very sensitive to me, and I appreciate it. In addition, I recently found out through Ancestry.com, this isn't a commercial, but it's fascinating, that my great uncle was a World War I veteran, got the Purple Heart, and I found out where he was buried, and coincidentally, he was buried in the same cemetery that my mother and father, who were both World War II veterans. My mother was in the Army. I'm one of the few people that can say that both their parents were veterans. I recently found out he was buried in the same cemetery as my mom and dad, so I know how important this is to maintain the legacy of somebody like Police Officer Benedict and those who followed him. So thank you very much for bringing it to our attention.
Supervisor, if I may also, just briefly, in my 45 years in government, in the county and here in the town, I've gone through 12 different commissioners for the Nassau County Police. Of all of the commissioners, we've never had an incredible commissioner like Patty Ryder. Sir, your opiate campaign is phenomenal, second to none anywhere. The Wrestling Takes Down Drugs, you took the lead on that too. You're unbelievable, and for our humble chambers to have you here finally is really a very important thing, and especially, you know, remembering the 40 people that were killed in the line of duty, and that's humbling for all of us, and it shows how important it is that you're here. God bless you. Thank you.
Supervisor, if I may. Commissioner Ryder, welcome today. I have the pleasure of serving on your community council. I also served 22 years as a police officer, 10 as a PBA trustee. So this means a lot. Thank you, Councilman D'Esposito, for taking the lead as always. You know, we have to remember our heroes, and you know, where we said never forget our fallen heroes. And thank you, Commissioner, Councilman D'Esposito, Supervisor Clavin, and the Nassau County PBA for holding that statement true. So thank you.
Supervisor, can I say something? I have a question to Commissioner Pat Ryder. Are those crazy socks you're wearing?
These beautiful socks, okay, they are for the fallen. They represent everybody that has paid the ultimate sacrifice. There's firemen, police officers. My brother, who works for the John Field Foundation, made me buy them. And that money goes for those officers who, from 9/11, who still suffer from cancer. So, thank you.
And I say that for a reason, because I took notice that in reference to the bond between police officers in our community, there was somebody else here that has crazy socks on, and I would like him to step forward and show us his pair.
Talking about me?
Yes. And I'm going to declare my fellow councilman, Anthony D'Esposito, the winner. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm very happy to be here and be a part of this, and certainly I welcome you to come into Greenfield Cemetery because it's in my district. So thank you so much.
And before I make the motion, I just want to commend all of you and all of you in law enforcement. When I look back at history, I mean, Valley Stream, my grandfather was on the Valley Stream Police Department before there was a county. And some of you might have known my Uncle Harry or my cousin Claudia along the way, and you're smiling too much, so I know you definitely did. You provide a great service, and I think you're true advocates, and I think you have a real level of support you can clearly see from this town board. That's always going to work with you, both past, present, and future. But for all of you in law enforcement, we thank you. We thank you for remembering all those who gave that ultimate sacrifice. And as I said, more importantly, you have friends in the town of Hempstead, both residents and board members alike, for law enforcement. So thank you for everything you do.
Supervisor, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the installation of the memorial gravestone for Nassau County hero Alexander Benedict.
I second the motion. I second the motion.
Can we have it noted that we all second?
Senior Councilman Gooseby, please reflect she seconded the motion.
Listen, if this is the only fight we're going to have here, and the two of you seconding a motion, this is a good day for us. I like this. This is great. Madam Clerk.
Supervisor Clavin.
Proudly vote aye.
Councilman Blake.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Absolutely aye.
Councilman Desposito. Aye. Councilman Dunn.
Absolutely proud.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Very proud to have it done. Thank you.
And Councilman Pascarella.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for taking the time to be out. No, thank you. Thank you. Can I have a motion on the remainder of the calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Matt. A little jump in there. Pardon me. I got a couple of slips on it. We'll start with Felix Procacci. You give him your name and address for the record, please?
Felix Procacci.
No address again?
What is the resolution 8020 that there are corrections for? Please stop the clock. Number 57.
I believe that would be the master resolution, Supervisor.
If Mr. Salmon, if you say it to Mr. Procacci, I'm sorry.
I believe he's asking the resolution that is referred to in the amended resolutions that are on today's calendar. These are individuals that were on the payroll as of January 1st, 2020, but with the conversion to the new software system, the names were not printed out on the resolution that the town board voted on. So we're adding those to the original resolution.
Okay. Thank you.
So these were the resolutions that were voted on in January 21st?
These will be added to that resolution.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
amending the 21st resolution.
Yeah, because I did bring that up at the February 4th meeting, that there were errors on it. Actually, I think even at January 21st meeting, saying that there were errors on it, and you came up here and spoke and said there weren't. And so now you're adding those. Okay. Also, items 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36. It's all the same question for all these, 39, 46, and 48. The issue is that these are all contracts for professional services over $20,000, over $10,000, so they require bids. In none of these cases, including the cases going back to February 4th when they were presented, the other ones were presented, you never listed the bidders, the other bidders on these contracts. You just say, there were 10 bids, there were 6 bids, there were 2 bids. Why aren't you listing the competing bids? And that's one thing. And also, when were these contracts put out to bid to start with? Can we stop the clock?
Supervisor, members of the Town Board, Jonathan Chris, Deputy Commissioner, Department of Planning and Economic Development. I believe all those items that you're pointing out are requirement contracts for the Department of Planning. They go out by RFP. They are companies that we use to run our programs, our federal programs. We follow strict HUD guidelines. They go out by RFP and Newsday, Long Island Business News, and on our website. We get numerous respondents, and our committees are made up of 3 to 5 employees that look through each proposal, evaluate each proposal, bring in the respondents for interviews, and they are scored. And these contracts are awarded based on the scores from the evaluations.
Okay.
Again, we follow strict HUD regulations.
Sure. I looked at the RFP bid section of the town's website, and I couldn't find any of these. Can you direct me to where they are? And second question is, has the compliance officer reviewed any of these bids?
They should be on the website.
They're not.
As I said,
I can't find them.
Originally, they went out back in August of 2019, back in September of 2019. And as the evaluation process went forward, recommendations were made to the commissioner of the department at the time, and resolutions were sent over here, but it was a different administration at the time. So we are going through a process of putting on the correct names of the administrative the supervisor and the new board members, and that has taken a little bit of time. They're all retroactive to January 1st.
So has the compliance officer reviewed them?
I couldn't answer to that.
Okay. Also, what's missing from the various positions and occupations is the town majority still hasn't selected its ethics board member. And this is, I think it's going on 7-8 months now, so I don't know what's taking so much time. But I'll take a look at the website and try to find out where these bids are. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. James Grish? Grish? I hope I said it right. People say my name wrong all the time. Don't hang about. If you give me your name and address for the record.
I live in Franklin Square. I feel comfortable giving the address, but
that's fine. Thank
you. The reason why I'm here is because I saw there was a resolution online about assessing the house for boards and everything. I went on Nassau County land records about 6 months ago, and there was already an assessment, and there was also for the boarding, the demolition, and everything on the house. And now I see that it's up again for another vote, and it's already been paid twice, because when I owned the property, I paid for it twice, and now the bank's paid for it 4 times. And the problem, I'm sorry, and the problem that I'm having is now the bank is coming after me because they already paid for it twice, and now I see that it's on for a 4th or 5th time. If you go to the Nassau to the U.S. land records, it shows that it was already assessed, put on, and everything. And I'm actually waiting for Nassau County to give me, because they said it was so much paperwork that was put on the assessment that it's going to take time to print it all out and give me a copy of it.
Okay. And that's number 7 on the calendar, if I remember correctly. Do you know which one it was on the calendar? Okay. Commissioner Rodkamp?
Good morning, Supervisor, members of the Town Board. What this is the special assessment for the fence that was put around the property for the demolition. The job was obviously completed. This is just the paperwork following up on the fence. As he stated, the demolition and the board ups were already done. This is just for the fence that was put around the property.
But if you actually go to Nassau County, it does say for the fencing and everything already, because I actually went down there and saw the record from the Nassau County Department of Deeds, and they showed me, and that was all assessed already into it, the demolition and everything. Because a company called Gappy's Inc., they supposedly said it was a part of the contract, and they said that everything that was assessed onto it was a part of the contract that needed to be there.
You're claiming that it was paid already?
It was paid 4 times, because I paid, when I owned the property, it was already assessed to the taxes, so I were...
So, hold on 1 second, sir. Can somebody meet with this gentleman now and try to sort out the issue to see whether or not it's paid?
Well, I mean, all you have to do is you could go and call Nassau County, because
we'll get somebody to work with you on it. Steve, where's Steve? Oh. Steve will put you in touch with the right person, and we'll figure.
Well, I already know who the right person. It's Maureen O'Connell's office. They're like they said to me.
What do you want us to do?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how you're putting it on the calendar for 3 or 4 times.
That to have somebody meet with you to try to figure it out. Do you want
Oh, I thought you wanted him to, all right.
want to help?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, sir. Because, okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Diane Madden? Morning. Name and address. How are you?
Good morning, Diane Madden, Hempstead. I'll just take one specifically as kind of piggybacking on some issues that Felix just brought up, but item number 36. Some of these names really sound all too familiar, and I really, obviously, I was hoping for some change. But in any case, there were, according to the record, 6 responses for this contract. Can anyone tell me if the person that, assuming will win this contract, was that the lowest bidder?
Deputy Commissioner?
Item number 36 is for attorneys in the Department of Planning. I don't know exactly how many respondents we had. I know there were more than we awarded the contract to. I believe 5 are being awarded. Okay. Mr. Davis has a specialty in residential replacement or commercial replacement during the condemnation process. These are requirement contracts, and we often don't even use the contracts throughout the year, but we need to have them in place to run the programs.
So, in other words, it's a $100,000 contract, but this particular attorney may not do any work, therefore will not submit claim forms. Am I understanding that correctly?
If he doesn't do any work, he will not submit any claim forms.
Okay, because, for me personally, and especially throughout the campaign, we did a lot of campaigning at synagogues and churches and religious organizations, and I just find it troubling that we're not seeing any names. When I used to look into those congregations, I would ask the people if they had received or were getting any jobs in Hempstead, and no hands were raised. So I do find it concerning that it is the same names over and over again. And it makes the appearance that there are kickbacks with some of these contracts. And that concerns me, and it should concern you, Supervisor, based on the multiple times you made comments during that campaign. This doesn't just come as a cost to taxpayers, because taxpayers, they don't have a sudden onset of amnesia after Election Day. They're watching. Employees are watching. The cost comes at election time. So please remember that and do a better job of outreaching to the public and to the voters where you campaign to secure some of these contracts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Mary Ellen Cray? Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Mary Ellen Cray, 436 Locust Avenue, Uniondale. I want to thank you for finally putting the youth project grants from the CDBG on the agenda, and we're looking forward to receiving the funds, which have already been expended by us. And as you well know, most of our organizations in youth services do not have a an endowment, so we're constantly playing catch up, and we're very much going to appreciate have this taken care of. Thank you. I think that's all for now.
Thank you, Ms. Cray. Ms. Maraday? Morning again.
Oh, yes, and it's still morning. Okay. Meta J. Meredith Baldwin, as I'm sitting here looking at a list, 20 opened and abandoned residences in Baldwin. I want to applaud the board for the resolution number 40. I, too, have relatives who are buried in Greenfield, towards the back of Greenfield Cemetery. I'll leave that there. 3 generations of my relatives, including my great uncle who served in World War I. He doesn't have a designation in that cemetery. Again, I'll leave that there with regard to the treatment of African Americans who served this country in all wars from the founding of this country. I have some concerns that were shared earlier with regard to the contract process, and taking the opportunity literally at midnight, because as the supervisor knows, I was one of the few, again, residents who stayed through at the one county meeting in the evening. But I do have some concerns that were voiced earlier with regard to seeing some of the same names with these contracts. And even looking up some of them, I was pleasantly surprised to see that there was at least one person of color who received the contract, but guess what? I'm not jumping up and down with great excitement that we're in 2020 and we're still, unfortunately, doing business as usual. And as Diane Madden so eloquently stated, we're hoping for something different. There's truly been a revolving chair in the supervisor spot, because you're now the 4th supervisor that I've sat before. Residents need to have some kind of consistency and some kind of stability in their leadership. So I will leave that part there. I do have a question as it pertains to the item on the agenda as it with the 41 I had a question about, and just wanted to get some clarity again with the SEQRA. But question 54, I would just like to know, where is the report with regard to the boring study? If someone could speak to that.
Commissioner Reinhardt.
Good morning, Supervisor, members of the Town Board. All reports related to the Grumman Plume are on file at the Public Repository, which is at the Bethpage Public Library. The soil borings that have been done through the 20 years are tested quarterly, and all the results are filed there.
Okay, and is that information, is the public aware of that, because the plume is spreading past Bethpage?
Yes. At every meeting, we have meetings twice a year with the Navy and Grumman that are public meetings advertised in the community. And at every one of those meetings, the meeting starts off with an information sheet that tells people exactly where the repository is.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And with regard to the contracts for the legal services, I see that there's $100,000. Is that just a blanket fee for attorneys? And in fact, do they actually use all of that money? Can someone speak to that?
Mr. Ra?
It seems to be a blanket fee set up here for the attorneys that are listed here at $100,000.
If you're speaking to the contracts with the Department of Planning and Economic Development, yes, they're $100,000, and they are requirements contracts. So we only expend money based on work that is needed. So they have to put in a claim once they do work for us. They could do $100,000 worth of work. They could do zero. At the end of the year, it varies. Depends on the projects that we're working on in any given year.
Okay, but again, my question has to do with what is the outreach, because you might as well just put the same names.
No. Again, the outreach is we follow strict HUD guidelines, and we advertise in Newsday and Long Island Business News, as well as the town website. And these people, a lot of them have expertise in what they do for us, what our programs require. So there is a level of expertise that they bring, or a history, but we interview everybody that responds, and they are evaluated and they are scored.
I understand that, but HUD guidelines are very specific also as it pertains to diversity and outreach. So those 3 publications do not.
All of our RFPs encourage women and minority and veteran-owned business owners to participate in our program.
I didn't get to finish my point. Okay. The encouragement and the direct outreach, for example, the utilization of Spanish language publications or culturally relevant publications, that is more than encouragement. That is best effort. So there's a difference between just saying it in a small 8-point type disclaimer and actually physically and fiscally being more responsible in doing outreach to increase a more cultural diverse workforce.
We do reach out to the Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other slips in the administrative calendar. Does anybody else wish to be heard? If not, may I have a motion?
I think we
do? Oh. Oh, we did? Sure.
Second.
We did? Sure. Okay.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Aye. Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
To adjourn.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Desposito. Aye. Councilman Dunn. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Aye. Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
I have a number of slips on the miscellaneous calendar here. We'll start with Felix Procacci. Your name and address for the record, please.
Felix Procacci.
Thank you.
In recent weeks, town officials have spoken to the press about the importance of redacting sensitive information from the town's website. One news report stated the previous administration included the unredacted Social Security numbers and federal tax ID numbers. The fact of the matter is, during the last 3 administrations, unredacted sensitive information has been put on the town's website. Here are some of the resolutions containing federal identification codes that were posted on the town's website between 2012 and 2015. The town began posting resolution details in 2012 after New York State passed a law requiring local government agencies to do so, and sensitive information has never been redacted ever since. In addition, the town failed to remove all of the sensitive information from the resolutions currently on the town's website. About 18 instances remain. I notified Supervisor Clavin on Friday, but as of 9:30 this morning, that information has yet to be redacted. I also noticed that the current administration has chosen to redact employee addresses from resolutions. Although I do not believe these should be classified as sensitive information, the administration failed to redact about 76 of the 141 employee and former employee addresses. I believe these errors by the current administration could have been avoided if the proper software, a word processor, was used to produce the documents. The use of typewriters to produce town resolutions not only requires more effort, but it makes it more difficult to find information on those documents. On that subject, it is my opinion that the town does not need to buy an expensive software package to manage town resolutions. What is needed is a word processor and proper procedures in the production and storage of town documents. There was no good reason for the town to contact the press regarding the sensitive information on the town's website. What the public really needs to be made aware of is that the town's compliance officer, Thomas Wildig, is in violation of town law. Final redacted reports, which were supposed to be posted on the town's website by December 15th, have still not been posted. Mr. Wildig is violating town law, and the town board is violating their oath of office by not enforcing town law. Among Mr. Wildig's responsibilities is to investigate allegations of waste, fraud, and abuse. The question residents should ask themselves is, who do they turn to when the town's compliance officer is engaging in waste, fraud, and abuse? Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Lillian Dvorak? All right. Good morning. How you doing? Your name and address for the record? How are you?
Good, thank you. Lil Dvorak, 33 Lynn Place, Bethpage, New York.
Thank you.
I guess I'm happy that the decision has been adjourned. Anxious to find out what it's going to be. So for now, I'm going to say thank you. Okay. I just hope that it goes in our favor because we don't want 24 hours service station and 7-Eleven behind our homes. We value them too much, and it's just something that we feel should not be there. 24 hours is not good, too close to our homes. But for now, I'm going to say thank you, and have a good day.
You have an awesome day. Thank you very much.
Totally understood. When you moved there was a bank, and maybe the bank wasn't even built yet when you moved there. But
It was a big
with the fear of the plume coming from, it's just too scary to continue to put another gas station, which I understand your fear.
Yeah, you understand my feelings.
Absolutely, and we adjourned it without a future date. So hopefully, if they're going to change things and make it right for you and your neighbors, maybe then they could bring it back to us, but not unless you're satisfied. I represent you and your neighbors.
Thank you.
That's why we did what we did today.
And our feeling is, I'm representing Lynn Place, Rob is representing Monica Court. My feeling is we understand that this is a commercial property, very well aware, but if you're going to have office building, doctor's offices, that's fine. I had a lot behind my house for a number of years, and when they put that up, we were okay with it. But to go further into what they want to put up, no, we're not. But if it's medical office or, anything of that particular thing, that's good. But anything 24/7 as what they want to do with the gas station, it's just, what my feelings.
Just so you're aware, your assemblyman has been in constant contact with me on this also, not just your community, but even other elected officials. So
Great.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you again. Mr. Kennedy? Morning. Just give your name and address for the record. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Rob Kennedy, 16 Monica Court, Bethpage. Council members, Supervisor Clavin, quick little story. It was kind of hard to write my tax check this year.
I understand.
Writing your name for a very long time. So.
People a little sensitive. They don't see my name there. I appreciate that.
I had to double take. I was like, who's this check for? But anyway, going back to the 7-Eleven and stuff like that, we do appreciate you at least adjourning it, taking a longer look at it. One thing I would like maybe if you would think about is we're a residential neighborhood, okay? A 24-hour business being behind residential, you have to look at the consequences to the residents. If you don't think we're going to hear car doors banging all night and stuff like that, we will, because we have Winthrop University, their dialysis center right next door to us, and they're there till about 12 o'clock. They start up about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's just, constant noise. At a 24-hour service station, we understand. It's a commercial property, we get that, but it's not zoned for GSS. So we're just asking you to keep it the same. We'll deal with whatever they're going to put in there as a commercial property because they're allowed to. And we did. We tried to work out with the developer. We went back there, and I've been in constant contact with the developer and the lawyers, and we're trying to work things out. But it's just funny when 7-Eleven gets involved, how things disappear so quickly. So it's kind of that back and forth. And that's what we deal with. We also deal with when they say stuff like, well, we can build stuff 10 feet from your property line. How can we as residents fight fair when we get told something like that, I mean, if you're going to make it fair and you want us to talk to these people, we want to sit down and talk to them. But when they put something like that in front of our face, now we're like, oh, I got a building 10 feet from my property. It kind of, takes it out. I'm a retired NYPD guy. I just got diagnosed with Parkinson's. I started cancer in my throat. This is all that stuff. I want to retire in my house and live in my backyard. I don't need a 24-hour business behind it, but it can be, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm more worried about digging up that property. Every day we got the plume. They told us everything was good. They told us everything was fine. they gave us a Home Depot mask and, go down there, and now, we're burying our friends every day. So that worries me. So that's what I'm concerned about. Thank you. I don't want to move. And I feel like that, when you put that on there, we're going to have to move. So thank you for your time. I
Please
appreciate
let you
it.
know that, I have two New York police officers with me, Carini and D'Esposito. And again, you heard earlier that Bruce Blakeman's nephew passed in September 11th, and we're very concerned about the plume and any possibility of anything going in there not upsetting the neighborhood. It's got to fit. It's got to
I didn't
fit.
even know about that they had the stuff in the Bethpage Library. That's how much, people in Bethpage don't know. I mean, I lived there. Didn't even know they had the results in the Bethpage Library, so. But thank you for listening to me. Have a great day.
Thanks for being
Thanks,
here.
Mr. Kennedy. And I'll let the new receiver know you enjoy writing her name on the check. So that's no problem at all. We'll take care of that. John Defense. Okay. George Matthew? Nope. Mr. Defense? Hey, Mr. Defense, how you doing? That's okay. How you doing, all right? Nah, don't worry about it. What? 3 hours? Oh, this. Have a seat.
John D. Spence. Sorry. How you like the last name?
How you doing, Mr. Defense? If you give your address for the record, I appreciate it.
Is this on? It's on.
Yeah, it's on. Absolutely.
John D. Spence. Good morning, gentlemen, ladies. I was here last month. I don't know if you remember me. Make it real quick. I was supposed to be meeting with Miss Lisa Murphy, Senior Enrichment.
The Commissioner of Senior Enrichment.
Right here.
It's right to your right.
And we never met. And I want to know what happened. Because she had someone call me since this happened and to apologize that she was very tied up, so she couldn't get back to me. But then I forgot the person's name. They now technically interrogated me about what was going on. And I didn't call or want to speak to them. I wanted to speak to this lady because she sat here and said that she would look into it. I haven't heard nothing.
Mr. Defense.
And I'm being, this is part of what happened. I get interrupted. I'm being harassed by some of the people that I'm trying to help because they got the wrong information about me. And I want to meet with Ms. Lisa Murphy and whoever else would be necessary to straighten out my problem. To quickly, for you to understand, I am now a resident in this complex.
The pool table, right?
You're right.
Yeah,
You know about it too.
Listen, you here. I remember.
You don't know all the details.
Listen, I'm getting older, but I remember a couple things. This one I remember.
Drag it out. I'm not going to drag it out. I'm not going to drag it out. But my point is this. I could have gotten hurt when the pool table collapsed, but I did not get hurt, and that's why the pool table came into play. I happen to have a pool table in my former home, and I thought about donating it to the center, but I figured it might cost a lot of money or whatever. And then I thought about it. Senior citizen, I don't have a lot of money, but I can't take it with me, so I'm going to foot the cost. The cost, ladies and gentlemen, without the problem I ran into with the other people, the administration, was $800 that I was going to pull out of my pocket to get the pool table into the center. The procedure I was going to use was like an entertainment type procedure, which is going to involve approximately $40 tops. And those $40 was going to be applied to the cost to get the pool table into the center without me knowing the price at that time. So technically what I was going to do was, once I found out the price to have the pool table brought into the center, and I was told $800, I said, well, I got 40 from the volunteers in the center with an award and appreciation system to only cost me, excuse me?
I got you, but
Okay.
The commissioner's here right now. Maybe the two of you can go to the back and try and find if there's a way
Absolutely,
to
Supervisor.
resolve this. And if need be, Councilman Diaz-Bazito is a very, very strong guy. Maybe we'll send him over to give a helping hand here. I don't think it is. But why don't we go right to the back right now? You're here now.
Okay, sir, that's, good me again?
The commissioner's here right now. Why don't you go to the back room? We'll see.
When you mentioned Mr. Esposito or someone, I would prefer somebody else be sitting with us so we get more than one opinion. Because that's what caused the problem.
No, he doesn't want me to sit with you. He just wants me to carry the pool table.
No,
That's it.
I need to be,
But
hey, I don't go that way neither, so that's two of us, all right?
How about if I took my other deputy commissioner, Linda Reed, okay?
That's great. The back room looks
That
open.
would
And
be
Mr. Fitz,
perfect.
I'm not going to have you go far. I'm just going to have you go to the back.
No problem, sir.
All right?
Thank you very much.
No problem. Always good to see you. Pearl Jacobs? Good morning. Your name and address for the record. Thanks.
Yes, good morning. Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale, speaking on behalf of the Nostrand Garden Civic Association. I have a couple of issues here. I have a question first for buildings. I would like to know what's going on at the location, former gas station, now empty lot at the intersection of the intersection of Uniondale Avenue and Front Street. We see activity. They're digging up. They look like they're putting tanks in. We would like to know what's going on there.
Good morning, Supervisor, members of Town Board. That is correct. They have a building permit to replace the gasoline tanks that are in the ground.
Is there any structure proposed to go there at that location?
Right now, they're just, the only application and permit they have on file is to remove and replace the tanks.
Okay, thank you. The next issue is the status of the proposed relocation of the 7-Eleven on Jerusalem Avenue. It's supposed to be relocated at the corners of Uniondale Avenue and Jerusalem Avenues. Any update on that?
We have no applications filed for the new 7-Eleven. However, as far as the existing site is concerned, we had someone come in on January 22nd to file hold harmless, and they're basically told us that they're going to fix it up and basically make it a vanilla box, and then whoever decides to come in after that will file an application at that time to do interior alterations.
So you're saying there's no proposed 7-Eleven that's relocating to that location?
At that location? No, there is not at this time, no.
Not at this time. Okay, thank you. So I'm receiving misinformation. Councilwoman Gooseby, I received a call from one of my members from my civic association, said that they had called your office regarding lights out, street lights that are out on a few lampposts on Uniondale Avenue, and they're still out. I went last night to check them on my way home from the legislature. I was coming home at 9:30 at night, and those lights were still dark.
Oh, I'm not aware of that. If
Well,
they call, if you send it in to my office, I'm thinking, did anyone in my office receive that from her?
Not
No
from
one has
me.
received
One of my
it.
members called me.
Well, they did not receive it. If you would give it to us, we'll take care of it.
Okay, well, the lights are out on Uniondale Avenue.
The whole Uniondale Avenue?
There are several lights out.
Does she have any idea where they are so we can send someone
There's
in there?
several lights out, Councilwoman Gooseby. I don't have the exact locations, but they're on Uniondale Avenue.
Commissioner, would you please check it out?
Thank you. And my last issue are the ongoing sanitation issues and violations in Uniondale. Sanitation is just deplorable. After the meeting, if anyone from Councilwoman Gooseby, you can come with me and people from your staff, we can do a field trip and I can show you how it looks. Okay, well, I just offer it, I'm sure. Maybe, sometimes you might want to take a walk through Uniondale. The street sweeping, for the last couple of months, I have not seen street sweeping. I've seen it prior to the last couple of months, but I have not seen street sweeping. The streets are filthy. So I tell you all the time about the streets and the garbage and the sanitation issues in Uniondale. Mailers are sent out.
He's here. He's going to speak to you.
Mailers are sent out for other issues, Supervisor Clavin. Mailers are sent out and for other issues, but mailers should be sent out to instruct residents how to care for their garbage, how to put it to the curb, how to put it in garbage receptacles, not in plastic bags. In fact, I'm tired of talking, so I brought pictures, okay? I spent my own money. I made nice, clear, vivid pictures so you can see the sanitation violations that we deal with all the time. We have birds that descend upon our community, descend upon our homes.
Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. What I'm going to ask you, if you could stick around, we'll take the photographs from you. That'd be great. In addition, I like your idea of maybe informational mailings on garbage, and we'll follow up with that. So I appreciate the great input.
I would appreciate that.
So
because
maybe,
education.
Commissioner, if you can go in the back and get the photos, we could take a look at some of the issues that are arising.
I'm going
there.
to do a lot of things in
Thank
photos
you.
now, since
Thank you.
words mean nothing. Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
You have a great day. It was good seeing you last night, by the way. Diane Madden?
Oh, street lighting, would you meet with her in the back, too?
Please. Thank you.
Street lighting.
He's got
Okay. And there are some problems in Uniondale. I did speak to them about it. It's sanitation district number 2.
Okay.
And what they want people to do is put the stuff in the bags, but some people are doing it and some are not. They've been there to check that out already. So we have to let them know again.
Okay. Ms. Madden?
Diane Madden, Hempstead. Supervisor, throughout the campaign, multiple times, you promised that if you were supervisor, you would take the animal shelter out of general services. I am just looking to find an update with that, and I'll follow up as to why I'm asking. But can you please tell me where you stand on that, if there's been any progress?
Ms. Madden, I appreciate you following up on that. We're taking a look at a number of initiatives, and if we come forth with something, we're going to let everybody know.
So if we come forth, this is about you, just so we have an understanding. And if you're going to go out and campaign to the public and make promises, before you do that, you should let them know that you need a consensus before you promise to take the animal shelter out of general services, because I was impressed by that. I thought that would be a good effort. And more so now, knowing that there are no changes, there are no improvements at the animal shelter. And if I'm wrong about that, I know that the union president, the vice president are in the House, and they probably would know firsthand if there are any changes or improvements at the animal shelter. And I would invite them to vocalize that if that's the case. I have a question with regards to the rescue coordinator position at the animal shelter. For a while, it's meant to be a 40-hour full-time job. It is a full-time job. There have been a lot of complaints, and they've been posting them publicly from rescue groups. And I'd like to know how many hours this person and this position has been putting in. Is this still 20 hours? Is it 40 hours? Could someone please tell me that? Because that could explain some of at least the problems in that area.
Okay, I'll have Christine Grillo from my office follow up with that question. Maybe you could submit it in writing so we can try and give you a proper answer. Thank you.
You want me to submit it in writing?
Or if you have a moment after the meeting, Christine Grillo will go in the back and talk to you. That's easy enough. Thanks.
Okay, and you're welcome. I just have also a question about the ethics board that evidently is not in place still. I was hoping that would change. Could anyone give me a date on when this town will have a functional, complete ethics board? Mr. Ra?
We are going to go ahead and have a meeting during the month of March. Whether or not we get a 5th member, we're just going to have an organizational meeting, and that's where we stand right now.
So organizational meeting, meaning that at this meeting you're not looking at any ethics complaints or violations?
I have no comment on that.
Okay, so while I have your attention, there are issues with the town not following through on violations related to the animal shelter. It would speak to your office that the codes are not being enforced, particularly in a home in Oceanside that I believe I brought to your attention previously.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. What I would suggest is if you have any direct complaints about that, perhaps you can put it in writing or an email form or talk to Mr. Ryaf to do a follow-up on it.
Thank you. And one more comment, I'd appreciate some feedback from Mr. Regina with regards to the proposal about contracts and making sure that if a contractor lies on an application or that process, they would have to repay the taxpayer dollar. So I'd appreciate, Mr. Regina, a follow-up about that. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day. Nancy Jagoras? Georges? I apologize. I'm sorry. Hey, morning. How you doing? It is technically still morning. Let's root for the best.
My name is Nancy Georgios. I live at 900 Oakland Court in North Belmore. Good morning, Supervisor Clavin and members of the Town Board.
Morning.
My reason for speaking today is the ongoing, almost 40-year flooding on our street, Oakland Court in North Belmore. We have been writing and calling the town as far back as Mr. Galata, yet nothing has been done to correct the flooding. I grew up in North Belmore. We chose to buy a home and raise our family in the town of Hempstead because we love the schools and amenities in our wonderful town. The flooding on Oakland Court is a safety issue. Cars traveling to the local school, Dinkelmeyer School down the street, have gotten stuck in the waters, young children in the car. Our Oakland Court is like a pass-through from North Jerusalem Road down to Dinkelmeyer School. Cars cannot navigate the street when it floods. Cars have become stuck in the waters. People have had to get out of their cars and push the cars out of the way. Moreover, I would point out that a regular car, such as a regular police patrol car, would not be able to navigate during times of these floodings. The flooding is a safety issue for disabled people because the sidewalks also become flooded and are impossible to navigate. My 92-year-old mother lives around the corner on Rosemont Street and cannot visit us during the time of the flooding. We're asking you to please fix our street so that we can enjoy the home and community we love so much. We know that our elected officials in the town of Hempstead believe that the safety of its citizens is always its top priority. I ask that you please contact me as to when exactly this flooding problem at 900 Oakland Court and the rest of the street will be corrected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before you go, I'm actually going to ask you maybe if I'm going to introduce you to our Commissioner of Engineering. He's right to your right, and maybe you can go in the back, have a conversation with him, get a little details right now, if that's all right.
Yes, Supervisor, just so you know, it is on our radar. It's actually in the design phase. It's unfortunately one of many drainage issues throughout the town. We recently took the initiative of doing a town-wide study to basically assess all the drainage issues throughout the town and do a cost-benefit analysis to figure out which ones to tackle first. And this is one of the higher priority ones, and it's currently in the design.
That's great. Maybe you could spend a little time with Ms. Gorgeous?
Thank you. Georgios.
Well, you know, take the compliment, but I'd say maybe you could spend a little time with the commissioner right now. Thank you very, very much.
We made a contact with the commissioner last year when you brought it to my attention, and we sat and we looked over it, and he's right on top of it, so he'll explain exactly what.
Fantastic to hear. We really appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner. Mr. Kroll? Name and address for the record. Thanks.
Lou Kroll, Great Neck. Due to time restrictions, I'm not going to spend much time talking about why Pastore is still running the town shelter. I don't anticipate him being removed anytime in the near future, and I'm guessing there's probably some reason we've yet to ascertain as to why he's still there. Anyway, to my main point, we're anxiously awaiting a state Senate vote on Bill S4234A, banning the sale of puppies, kittens, and rabbits in pet stores. This is or should be a nonpartisan issue with at least 20 co-sponsors as of now. Only 4 Long Island senators have not supported this bill. One of them is my state senator, actually, Anna Kaplan. Perhaps the reason she's not supporting it is because we've documented she's taken, I think, 4 donations totaling a few $1,000s from puppy mill lobbyists. Somehow I assume there's a connection there somewhere. Mr. Clavin, I called your office on numerous occasions asking you to write a letter supporting this bill. After a period of no response, I received a phone call from your personal attorney telling me you could not write this letter. The reason she gave was that you wanted to see what changes were made to this bill. This is somewhat absurd because this bill will be voted upon as it is currently written. Even if it were changed at some point, we could very much use your letter of support as this bill is, as it stands right now. Anyone who won't commit themselves to abolishing this heinous practice is basically tacitly supporting it, and I had really sort of hoped for more. Apparently, Mr. Blakeman is no longer here. At the last meeting Bruce was talking about, when I was talking about Bill S4234A, he volunteered to write a letter of support. For 3 weeks, we sent him numerous emails, phone calls, of course got no response. As of a few days ago, he wrote a 2-line note to Governor Cuomo, who has nothing to do with this bill except if it were to sign it into law if it were passed by the Senate and the Assembly. Anyway, he asked for more support for rescue dogs. This is a great sentiment, somewhat akin to my saying I'd like to feed the hungry in Africa. It's a particularly effective sentiment if you're in the running to be Miss America, but that's not what this is about. He never referred to puppy mills or the bill in question. If he thinks that anybody's going to be fooled by a trite little soundbite, Valerie Lamp sent him an email on Friday asking him to please write a letter immediately, which of course there was no response to. For whatever reason, he obviously doesn't want to offend anybody that's somehow connected with a puppy mill. Mr. Dunn, congratulations. I understand you're going to be running for a state Senate position. If this bill does not pass, it will be immediately reintroduced. Your opponent, or prospective opponent, Senator Thomas, is co-sponsoring this bill. So what I'd like to know if you could enlighten us as to where you stand on this matter.
And comment on something I haven't seen.
Well, the bill basically is banning the sale of puppies, rabbits, and
You could say one thing and it could mean something else to somebody else. So I would have to see it before I comment on it because your interpretation might be totally different than mine. So I would have to see the bill. If you have a copy of it, get it to me.
I'll get you a copy if you like.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyway, my last comment is this basically should be a nonpartisan issue. These dogs are overbred and then killed, and I don't know how anybody on this stage cannot support abolishing this. It's a matter of common decency. And by the way, for Bruce, who obviously is not here, he said that this is a state issue, not a local issue. Many local municipalities, New Rochelle being one of them, have banned this practice along with 3 other ones in that particular area. So what he said is obviously not factual. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kroll. Have a great day. Mary Ellen Cray?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to ask, what is the procedure now for, I've seen the articles about the hub, and what is the procedure going to be from now on in processing the hub application?
The application, I believe, is currently being, in the building department, currently being reviewed. It'll be a long process, obviously. It's going to take some time. We have to go through environmental studies and things like that. So, but it is moving forward.
Thank you. Last meeting, I spoke about the 5G networks. I have a little bit more information. I know that St. Louis and Chattanooga have required that the last mile of fiber optic cable, that the last mile of the system be fiber optic cable so that it's not, you know, non-scientifically saying up in the air, it's actually being carried by wires. And in South Korea, they have it through the whole country carried by wires. So I'm going to pass this and I hope it will be further reviewed and considered by this body. Thank you. Thank you for the move of the bus stop on Uniondale Avenue, moving it north of Jerusalem. I think it'll make it a lot easier for traffic to move on there. And I did note that there is a planting spot and a tree there. I feel that if those were removed, we could have like a little bay that would allow the bus to pull in a little bit more. So perhaps somebody could review that. And on the issue of sanitation, the area on Stewart Avenue, which is part of Uniondale, over by the post office, the General Mail facility, is quite unkempt. And I do have pictures to show that. So I'm hoping that an inspector will, I know that's federal property and all that, but I'm hoping that an inspector will go out and ask them to clean up in front. There's one particular corner extremely to the east where obviously all kinds of debris, papers, and things have just built up, and it's probably maybe 4 feet high, 3-4 feet high. We really don't want to see that, so we hope you'll send an inspector out and speak to them. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Cray. Marcia Dieteri. Morning, how you doing? Give me your name and record, address for the record. How you doing?
Marcia DiTieri, 34 Lee Avenue, Merrick, New York. I'm here today following up on tree preservation bill. I attended last month's meeting. I spoke with Kathy Malone. She said you're still researching it, and I'm anxious to see if anything is happening with it every day, aesthetically, health-wise. It breaks my heart every time I see a tree come down. So it's an important issue. It's been going on for many, many years, and every day I see a developer buying a piece of property and cutting down every single tree. It affects our health. It affects our property values, I feel. And I'm hoping we could expedite doing something. If there's anything I can do to expedite it or inform you, there's many articles about tiny town where I live, about the importance of preserving. So I was hoping I can get an answer from someone if there's anything updated on it.
You know, I know Kathy had told me she'd been in contact with you. I appreciate it. And you had pointed out a couple of different initiatives, and we were just kind of like talking about a couple of things. You know, she'll keep you in the loop on any, and we appreciate the suggestions. You know, that's part of the process is, you know, somebody brings it to your attention, trying to find a happy solution with everything. So thank you.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
And Kathy's really enjoyed dealing with you, so thank you.
She's a good person.
All right.
Thank you.
Fortunately, she's not here, so she doesn't get to hear that. You have a great one. Ms. Meriday?
Unfortunately, no visual aids did I bring, but, well, actually I did. Meta Meriday, Baldwin resident. I wanted to hand these out to all of the board members. What you will receive is a program for the memorial service that I helped to coordinate for a U.S. Air Force veteran, Murray Reese, who passed away after extended illness, and as the saying goes, but for the grace of God and the kindness of strangers, but also supporters in our veteran community, we were able to facilitate the process to give him a decent send-off so he would not be languishing in the morgue at one of our local hospitals. But that speaks to the earlier concern and the words about, you know, we want to make sure that we honor our war dead and those who serve our country, and we continue to ignore many of their concerns and issues for those that are living. So I am hoping, because I beat that same drum, and it just seems to, I get the same kind of, nodding smiles and, the supportive rhetoric, but when it came down to reaching out and getting things done, unfortunately, I didn't receive as much of the support from this township as I thought I would. So fortunately, there were others who stepped up. But I would like to acknowledge Supervisor, young lady Lisa Voda. I don't know who she is per se, but via phone, she was very kind and very supportive, and I did want to acknowledge that in that aspect. But yes, I did want to make sure you had that information with regard to Mr. Reese and his passing. The roads in the township are atrocious. You've heard it before. I'm hoping that the town and the county can work together, because many of the issues that residents have is because of the lack of awareness as to what is a county road and a town road. But bottom line, they're all bad. We need to do something about it. And we need to focus on addressing the shared services that everyone's promoting, and you're in the photo ops with the county executive about how you want to reduce services, but the return on investment is not coming to the residents, and we need to do something about that. The compliance with regard to the contracts is a concern, and I would think, since more than one resident has brought it up about the issues with these contracts, that should be of concern. And in looking at the HUD requirements, I think that we all should take a review on what the actual HUD requirements are for minority and women outreach, because this township is not fulfilling that. And we need to be concerned about that, because we're in the process of litigation. And I'm hoping that the town will work together with those of us that are trying to do something at the medical center, Nassau Medical Center, to expand the services for our veterans and their families in Nassau County, because it's needed now more than ever. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor Venera. Have a great day. Emma Funderburg. Good afternoon.
Yes.
How are you? A name and address for the record. Thanks.
Yes, it's Emmy Funderburk, 139 East Clinton Avenue, Roosevelt, New York. Good afternoon to everyone. I had a couple of issues, but I'm just going to focus on two. I'm interested in the community extended office of the town of Hempstead in Roosevelt. That office was originally set up so that we would have an extended arm to the town, and any issues facing Roosevelt, we would be able to have someone there that we can reach out to. All right, and so I'm interested to see who's going to be running that office. Are we going to have hours now that it's going to be open? And we need to have someone that has an eye on the community, that's going to be able to walk the community, spend time there, and understand the issues that are facing the community, because at this rate, the office is not serving the purpose that it was originally set up for. So I'm just wondering where we are with that. Number two, the cell towers. Who's, I guess, the purpose and why we have 5 of them in such a small community. We're only at 1 square mile. We have 5 cell towers. And I know we were talking about health issues. It has been said that these towers can, cause cancer. And I'm wondering why we have 5 in our little community. The other one is C&R Tree Company on Nassau Road. It holds up traffic. It is an eyesore, and I wanted to know, what are we going to do about that particular property on Nassau Road? The vape locations. I know the last time I was here, I talked about vape locations being so close to our school district, schools, local elementary schools. Where are we in that process? And last but not least, the new housing permits that are going up. We're putting up giant houses that are like 3 and 4, it looks like apartment buildings. Who's I guess looking at the variance for that? They're squeezing them into little pieces, but we're putting somewhat upwards of 8 families in these homes. So I know that that's not a variance for Roosevelt. I don't know. I know through the town of Hempstead we don't have variances like that. So I'm wondering, how are we doing that in Roosevelt? We have one on Lincoln. We have one that's getting ready to go up on Nassau, on Park Avenue. Actually, on Lincoln, we have two. They even advertise. They put a big sign up saying, come on, you know, we're building these big homes, come look. I mean, it is really, the housing there is really out of hand. And I don't know where, and if you can even instruct me where to send people to protest against that, because we can't have these kind of houses going up to the point where they look like little apartment buildings.
Mr. Rodkamp, Commissioner Rodkamp? I know they would have to have permits and so forth to do that. I don't think we have that.
And that's why that office was so important as well. Okay, Mr. Love. Yeah, I'm just wondering about those houses that are going up. It's 2 on Lincoln, and they're huge.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, are we, the permits for those?
I'm sure there is, but I'll take a look at them personally.
Okay, thank you. And as far as the hub is concerned, where are we with that? You know, the community outreach town of Hempstead office that we have, it's right there on Nassau Road.
We're doing rehab on it just to, you know what, we recognize a lot of residents coming there, and it's going to be reopening. We're just, you know, making it a little more presentable inside for the residents. That's all.
Make sure you make it more presentable. But I guess, who's going to be in charge? You know, who's?
That generally is a building that's used by planning and economic development.
The person that's going to be in charge
Is generally from planning and economic development.
Okay. Have you already hired someone for that position? That's what I'm asking, basically.
No, they're existing personnel.
Okay. So are you planning on hiring someone else for that?
Not at this moment. Okay, thank you.
Is there someone I could talk to about that? Because I'm not happy with the person.
Sure, yeah, I'm going to point you right over the deputy commissioner. He's going to talk to you right now in the back. Okay. I don't have any other slips. Does anybody else wish to address the board this time? If not, have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you all for coming out.